The focus of this class is external rotation of the hips. All you'll need is really 2 blocks, but you can also bring a bolster or a blanket if you'd like some extra support for today. Grab your props and then meet me on the mat when you're ready. Start today in a child's pose position. Bring the big toes together, send the knees wide, and then push the hips down on top of the heels. You can bring the hands underneath the forehead, stacking them up, or bring a block underneath the forehead, but keep the shoulders nice and soft. Option to close the eyes or gaze down to the ground. Take a big inhale in through the nose, fill the belly, the ribs, the chest with air. And then exhale out the mouth, let it all go. We'll do this 2 more times. Big belly, ribs, chest, breath in. Exhale, release. Last one, your own timing. Bring your awareness back into your breath. Follow your inhale from the tip of the nose to the bottom of the lungs. And your exhale from the bottom of the lungs to the tip of the nose. Can you return to that sensation of expanding the belly, the ribs, and the back on your inhale? And reversing that sensation all the way back down on your exhale. Continue to breathe, following your breath in and out. And encourage that exhale to get slower and longer with every cycle of breath. Feel the weight of the hips against your heels, and the top of each toe against the mat. We'll be here for a few more rounds of breath, but know this position can always change whenever it needs to. Now work to maintain that slow rhythm of your breath as we start to transition up into an upright position and then on to our sit bones. You can shake out the legs, give them a wiggle, and then bring the soles of the feet together. Start to work your way into a butterfly. Take the knees wide, and the closer the heels are to the groin, the more intense this will be. So option to walk them forwards if you need to. If you'd like some extra space, you also have the option to sit up on a block. Taking it on the lowest setting creates a little bit more space through the front of the hips. And then start to lean yourself forwards, finding a stretch on the inner thighs. Now I'm going to take the block out from underneath me just for a little bit more comfort for my own practice, but option to keep it there if that works for you. And as you lean yourself forwards, You can let that head bow down, let the upper body dangle, and keep the work isolated to just the hips. Now remember that slow cycle of breath. Start to find it once again. It might take a few rounds to get there. See if you can get that exhale to be twice as long as your inhale. Maybe that's inhaling for 2, 3, or 4, and exhaling for 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8. Start to find a pattern, a rhythm that feels comfortable, where you're not stretching the inhale or the exhale. What that does for us here is helps us soften the body, relax the muscles, and also gives your mind a mental focus point in these longer holds. Our yin mobility classes can also sometimes be harder than our regular mobility classes because we have a lot less movement, less cueing, less counting, less stuff for your brain to attach to. We'll be here for 5 more rounds of breath. For 3 more. And 1 more. Start to walk yourself upright. And if you have 2 blocks, place them underneath the outsides of the knees. These now become a reference point and also some feedback for us to squish into for doing some isometrics. So soles of the feet come together, and this is going to be a lot of the work for our practice today. Inhale, lift the chest up. On your exhale, lean forwards and bring your elbows into your thighs, into your knees. If that's too far away, you can also use your hands. What we want to do is lock ourselves into the stretch. So we've got blocks underneath, we can't move anywhere. We have our hands or our elbows on top, we can't move anywhere. Now on your next exhale, try and pull your thighs into your elbows or your hands and take it about 50% effort. Already, 50% feels like a lot. So option to stay here or give yourself another squeeze for 60, for 70, for 80, and if option to take it all the way, and we'll just hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now take an inhale. On your exhale, keep the elbows, the hands where they are, and try and push your knees down into your blocks. Squeeze your outer thighs. So we're squeezing right up here on the outsides of the hips as well as we pull ourselves deeper into this stretch. Now the blocks are also there so that we can't go way too far. But if you feel like now the blocks are in the way of your range of motion, slide them aside if you need a little bit more room to go. So I need just a little bit extra space, but now I'm going to slide those blocks back in. So I have that feedback about where they are in space, so I can have something to also reach for as we ramp it up to 60%, 70, 80, 90, and option to hold at 100 for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring your elbows, your hands down to the thighs. Hold them in place. And this is where we're going to do round 2. So on an exhale, we try and pull our knees into those blocks. We try and pull our knees into our hands and our elbows, 50%, 60, 70. You're squeezing the inner thighs, 80, 90. Again, we'll hold 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take an inhale. And then exhale, we try and pull ourselves deeper. Push the balls of the feet together, squeeze the outer hips, and pull the knees down to the ground. Into those blocks, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. We got it for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, lift yourself up. Exhale, send those feet wide. We're coming into a wide-legged forward fold. Squeeze the outsides of the hips, rotate the femurs up to the ceiling, and then walk the chest forwards. Now the legs are where we're going to feel the work. We have that activity, trying to roll those inner thighs up to the ceiling, and try to send your sit bones behind you here. Now, as we soften into the stretch, you have a couple options to make this pose work for you. You can take blocks underneath the knees, especially if you find that the knees are lifting off the ground, and give those holes a little plug. This also gives you something to push into. If you have a bolster, rolled up blanket, place it underneath the edge of your booty so you can send the hips back like a sassy bottom and melt yourself forwards. You can also bring supports through the front to bring the ground up to you. So you can keep the work isolated to just the hips and the upper body can relax. I'm going to stack 2 blocks as we start to settle ourselves into our version of this pose. And we'll be here for 2 more minutes. Now you can always change your position whenever you need to, coming into anything that feels like rest for you. But until that moment comes, I encourage you to find that nice slow exhale once again. That pattern of your breath where the body can soften, the mind can relax, and we can just let the stretch do the work. If that stretch starts to fade away, I encourage you to find that next sticky spot. This often comes from small micro adjustments like sending the hips back, rotating the inner thighs to the ceiling, reaching that chest forwards, keeping it at most 60% effort. Now, if it feels good to stay right where you are, and you can always join us whenever you like. Last little bit of work for the hips. On an inhale, walk yourself up into your upright position. Exhale, draw the heels together. Return to that butterfly. Now we spent some time really softening up the inner thighs. What I want you to do is bring your hands to your knees or your elbows to your knees, your choice. Lean the chest forwards, find your stretch, and then see how far you can push your knees down to the ground. Now squeeze your outer hips and then pull your knees down to the ground as hard as you can. Now we start to remove our support. So we pull our elbows or our knees or our hands away from our knees. So engage your outer hips, try and pull your knees down to the ground. Lock your elbows, your hands against the knees, lock yourself into space. Take an inhale, squeeze the outside of the hips again, and then take those supports away. Go hands free. We want to keep the knees right where they are. Replace them. Now, if you find that when you pull your hands away, those knees rebound, you've gone too far, work yourself into a range that you can just control. Let's try 5 reps. So we push ourselves down, we lock it in, we pull that support away for 5. Push, lock down, pull away for 4. Push, lock down, pull away for 3. Push, lock down, pull away. 2. Push, lock down, pull away. 1, and then just one more for fun. Push, lock down, pull away. Let it go. Inhale, walk yourself up. Bring the hands behind the hips and we'll windshield wiper the legs. You can bring the outside of the right leg down to the ground and rotate that left inner thigh towards the right leg. Work to keep the left hip on the mat. And then the left leg opens up, left inner thigh starts to find the ground. Right inner thigh rotates towards the midline and then tries to reach the left leg again, right hip rooted onto the ground. And then continue to transfer your weight back and forth, rolling the thighs and the sockets. Moving slow, feeling that internal rotation to counter the external. And then last one. Bring the knees together. Inhale, grab onto the shins, lift the chest. And on your exhale, roll yourself down onto the mat. Now you can let the legs extend, the arms go wide. Wiggle yourself onto the ground. And then find that slow inhale and even slower exhale. Feel the low back fill with air, the back of the ribs, the back of the chest. And feel that change of pressure as you exhale and release back down into the mat. Option to stay here, bring the soles of the feet together, the knees wide. And if you'd like the support of the blocks, you can place them underneath the outside edges of the knees so the blocks hold your body weight. So there's no work to do, but just release through the hips. I encourage you to make this position as comfortable as possible. So adjust your hair, remove your hair clips, your ponytail. Use the blocks for support under the knees. Then bring the arms wherever they feel best. Our only job here is to just breathe. Feeling the rise and fall of the inhale and the exhale. Over and over again. We'll be here for 5 more slow cycles of breath. But this pose can always change into something else whenever you need it to. Start to bring the knees together, walk the feet wide, take any wiggles that you need to release the pose. And start to find your comfortable resting position. Think if you were here for 5 to 10 minutes, would it be comfortable? Could you relax? Might feel nice to bring some blocks underneath the back of the knees, a rolled up blanket, a pillow. You might give yourself a pillow underneath the back of the head, or cover yourself up with a blanket if you're at home. And when you find your comfortable position, option to close the eyes or just soften your gaze. Follow your inhale from the tip of the nose to the bottom of the lungs, and your exhale from the bottom of the lungs to the tip of the nose. Return to that slow quality of your exhale once again. And start to count down from 10. 9 more slow cycles of breath. With every cycle of breath, can you get heavier into the mat? Let go of any remaining grip, tension, the need to do more, be more on every exhale out. Start to slowly let go of counting your breath. Let go of any hold, any restriction on your inhale and your exhale. And for the rest of the time that you're on your mat, there's nothing to do. There's nowhere to be. Just breathe. Now continue to breathe on your mat for as long as you need. We'll see you in the next video.